The sack makes it 4th down and a mile as we welcome you to Orchard Park with 2 minutes left in a 4-point game. Kirk Cousins back to throw on 4th and 18. He's given time. He wants Jefferson. Climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Justin Jefferson pulled it in. The catch of his life keeps the Vikings' hopes alive. There's no way!
The Fantasy Edge with Richard Savill and Dennis Sosic.
Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Edge. I am Richard Savill of FantasySixPack.net, and joining me shortly, Dennis Sosic, also of FantasySixPack.net. You like that? I sure did. I think everybody did. It was a great game, Bills and Vikings. People have been talking about it, still buzzing today on Monday, and quite exciting. And I'd like to bring in Dennis to hear his thoughts on it. But in order to do that, we got to play his intro. Dennis can't come in.
That's quite all right.
Anyways, yeah, so kind of a pretty good game on the weekend.
No, it was an awesome game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of interesting play calls, a lot of interesting strategy going into that game. When Cousins didn't make that 1 yard, try to plunge, but he didn't make it that far. I thought the game was over, and just to see them drop the ball in the end zone and then recovered it's amazing. I don't know why they just didn't take the safety there or make a little better play call there, but
I think I guess they could have went for the safety, but I guess the thinking is, well, there's still time on the clock. They could still beat us but I mean, they still have to work for it. And with less than a minute on the clock, I guess, I don't know. It's hard to say, but that might have been their intention, but they fumbled the ball. So I don't know. It was such a strange ending to that game, and then there was the Gabriel Davis non-call.
Right. How can they not see that? They didn't catch that.
Yeah, New York, they're supposed to catch those things, and they kind of missed that. So I think Minnesota was sort of deserving of the win. You know, the way they rallied back and won the game is just fantastic.
Yeah, it was. It was a great game.
And, emotions in that in Orchard Park. That's also called. It's also nicknamed the Ralph as well.
Right.
And so emotions were pretty high in that game. Just 2 losses in a row for the Bills.
Yeah, Josh Allen seems he throws some really bad interceptions, man. I don't know. Sometimes he tries a little too hard, and I'm not sure why he insists also to think he's a fullback instead of a quarterback, because he looks to get hit and looks to hit people, which is okay at times, but you want to be out there for your team, and you can't be doing stupid stuff like that as a leader of the team. And he's getting like smashed out there, and he's already hurt. He's trying to do stuff like that, and hopefully he doesn't get serious hurt one day, but I would not be surprised if he does, because the way he plays is kind of dangerous for a quarterback.
Right. So that is true, but Joe Cap used to go out and try and hit people.
Your buddy Joe Cap, yeah.
I like Joe Cap. Joe Cap was with the Vikings. Joe Cap. That was proper football, proper mud and dirt there. And that's something else that we got to talk to. I think we got to really get into this. Show
today is crowded, so we must move quick.
Yeah, it is crowded today. There is something that to be said about mud and dirt. There was something in the news that I forget the name of what's it called again? The turf is, if the turf is too hard, they gotta change the turf.
Right, yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on with that turf there. Bruce Irvin of the Seahawks was very loudly complaining about it and let everyone know how much he thought the field was terrible there. And, if you feel for your team and, is this your livelihood, I'd be complaining as well.
Yeah, well, it used to be a problem in Wembley. They had really crumbly turf. It was like old-fashioned NFL turf. But there's still a problem with the current turf at the moment that they want to change. in NFL places. It's called slit firm turf fields. They want immediate replacement and ban of slit firm turf fields. I don't understand the definition of a slit firm turf field, but the NFLPA they want immediately replaced. So they want it to be, I got a picture there of Joe Cap. I put it underneath. I put a picture of Joe Cap below. Time to get some dirt on those uniforms. You should take a look. Well, I don't know. You can take a look later. How dirty uniforms used to get in the NFL.
I remember, yeah, the good old days.
Yeah. So they should bring that back. I mean, they still had injuries in those days, so I don't know. But kind of a jumbly start to today. But injury. Yeah, we got to talk about Cooper Kupp, don't we? He's expected to miss some time after ankle injury. He didn't have a great game. They had, backup quarterback Wolford couldn't get the ball to him. He's not a needle threader like Matthew Stafford is, so yeah, kind of expected that. Whereas I don't know, on the other side they had a backup too, but I don't know. DeAndre Hopkins seems a lot more quarterback proof, I think, than Cooper Kupp is. That's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, his wingspan's so ridiculous that you get in his radius, he'll catch it. I mean, if you see the play that Cooper Kupp got hurt at, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, he's done for the year, because that looked pretty nasty. And I mean, hopefully, he's going to be missed. They say he's going to miss some time, but without him in that offense, I mean, they already are a bottom 5 offense. Yeah. Even with Cooper Kupp there, and now you take him out of there. I mean, if they're going to free fall to be in the Denver Broncos range, which non-existent and very unfancy friendly, that you don't want to. I mean, would you actually try to look at picking up like an Allen Robinson? I mean, a lot of people even dropped Allen Robinson, surprisingly enough. But if you want to pick him up or even look at Van Jefferson, I mean, I think
Van Jefferson's more closer to the Kupp feeling. I don't think Allen Robinson goes into the Kupp role.
No, probably not. I just stay away from that whole offense. I mean, there's no offense that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Well, I don't know. They could get OBJ back.
Yeah, who knows where he's going? Those stories keep going round and round.
I know. I'm kind of old. Yeah, it is starting to get old. Leonard Fournette, he's not expected to miss any games following his hip pointer. He's I think Tampa Bay is something we're going to be talking about a little bit later when we get to the waiver side of things.
Right. He didn't even start, but he played. He had some moments and he scored a touchdown. So it's if you played him, he fouled in the end zone. He gives you some points. But he said we'll talk more about the situation when we talk about the waiver warriors. But that is, I mean, he said he's going to be fine after the bye week, so we'll see.
Injury. Jerry Jeudy getting his MRI on his ankle. Doesn't seem to be too serious according to the reports. But I'm really, when I saw this, I think anything to do with the Broncos, just, well, so what, sort of. Well, it's true. I mean,
but very sad, but true. I agree with that.
But it just seems any game that the Broncos are involved, like, just downgrade everybody on both teams.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they're only averaging like 14 points a game, and their offense is like crap. And who do you want from that offense? I mean, it's pretty ugly right now. I mean, I don't. He said he's supposed to be okay, but we'll see. And he's kind of hit or miss every week. I don't know if you can't trust him in your fantasy lineup every week, especially now as we're getting toward the playoffs. You don't want to be trusting him too much.
All right. Okay, next is on our list is Benjamin sent to waiver. Yeah, I think he got one touch and that was it. They cut him. They cut Benjamin. I cut him last week from my. Well, I mean he got, I don't know, he got 5. As soon as I saw like about a 2-to-1 ratio of touches for Benjamin with Connor back, I thought, what's the point? Get rid of him.
Right.
Our fearless leader, Joe Bond, picked him up and started him this week.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess he thought, he was thinking, Richard, you dummy, you just dropped Benjamin. I'm going to pick him up. Okay, away you go, Joe. Have fun.
All right. Good luck with that. Yeah. Yeah, he must have pissed off somebody because it just came out of nowhere that he got released, So, I mean, I don't understand that, but maybe he'll hook up another team, for the stretch run. I don't know if he's really worth anything fantasy-wise now, but NFL-wise, I think he'll hook up with another team. He's a backup somewhere. But I
think that Keontae guy, though, is worth it.
Yeah, the rookie Keontae.
I don't see... I don't see why he's not on this list. He's not on the waiver pick list. This Keontae, what's his last name?
It's Ingram.
Keontae Ingram, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't see why he's not on the waiver list.
Right.
On the Fantasy Pros waiver list, he should be there. Well, maybe because this news came out just before the waiver ranks.
Yeah, it had to be. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they didn't update it then. They probably will update it tomorrow, I'm guessing. But yeah, it's Keontae Ingram, somebody you could pick up as a stash. You never know. I think Darrell Williams is coming back in a couple of weeks too, as well. So
Darrell Williams, he plays for. No. I'm thinking of Damian. Yeah, right. Darrell Williams, you're right. Yeah. Darrell Williams is good. He's good. He's a good running back.
Yeah, I think he'll come back in a couple of weeks off IR, and then it makes that backfield a little more crazy.
Yep.
Injury.
This is kind of a big one. Zach Ertz out for the remainder of the season. He was actually producing on the Cardinals. This is kind of further with the Cardinals news. It's kind of an important one. To lose Ertz, you're really gonna have to look in the tight end pool when we get to the waiver part of that portion of the tight ends.
Yeah, that's a big loss. I mean, he was doing very well for Arizona. I mean, I'm assuming that Murray's going to come back next week, and he's going to have to find another. I mean, just more balls, I think, for obviously DeAndre Hopkins, but also Rondé Moore. I mean, he's looking like a PPR gold right now. He's getting the ball he's getting fed like crazy. It's even more now with Ertz. So if he's somehow available in your league, he's not. I mean, he's probably not. He's not on our list, but he's somehow available. Pick him up.
Yeah, though I will say there's a caveat to that. Hollywood's supposed to be coming back. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but he's more a boomer bust. He's throw the ball deep and hopefully he catches it. His hands are not the best, so.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't have to compete with anybody like Robbie Anderson or anything like that.
Robbie, no, definitely.
No, he doesn't. I mean, look at AJ Green got a touchdown and.
Right.
Hey, I would say AJ Green. Remember how we were talking about like who's ahead of who? Like, and I think AJ Green's ahead of Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, that's not saying much, but I agree with you there. Yeah, Robbie Anderson's a waste.
But if you started AJ Green as a sleeper, congrats, well done. I mean, he's always a sleeper option. All right, Josh McDaniels says Mark Davis is doing a fantastic job. Mark Davis says Josh McDaniels is doing fantastic. Did I say that right? No, I didn't. Right. Well, anyways, Mark Davis, the guy with the funny haircut.
Funny haircut.
Says, I don't know. He's got something going on there with that haircut. And it says Josh McDaniels is doing a fantastic job. You know what I read that as? You're going to get fired. That's what I read that as.
Exactly. It's a matter of time. Yes.
Whenever I hear a coach like, it's like something Irsay would say about Frank Reich, right? Frank Reich's doing a fantastic job. It wasn't that long ago.
Right. All of a sudden, he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost 2-7. They just lost the Colts, who had Jeff Saturday as the head coach. After not being a professional or a college coach, but they threw him out as the head coach. The Colts, they did what they had to do to win, and the Raiders obviously did not. I'm not sure how many times did not get his team ready for that, but it was pretty bad.
I mean, the interim coach that Davis had last year, he's made them playoff contenders. I mean, they did make the playoffs, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were one and done in the playoffs, but I mean, they still made it in. The Raiders with the interim coach, and McDaniels comes in and they're doing worse. Doesn't
bode well.
No, it's not going to work, is it? I mean, I think Josh McDaniels is definitely probably a one and done. You know what? I never thought much of him when he was in Denver. And he I don't know, Belichick, he worked with Belichick fine, but I don't know. I just don't think I think he might be better just as an OC or something.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. He's not a head coach. Shouldn't be a head coach.
No.
Injury.
Juju Smith-Schuster in the concussion protocol. He had one of those bad ones where you sort of raise the arms type of concussion.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, he was he got smacked pretty hard, and he was knocked out. It was pretty terrific. I don't think you're going to see him play for a week or more. But who knows? But I don't think he's going to play next week.
Yeah,
that was a pretty vicious hit.
As soon as I saw that hit, and there was a bit of complaining that there wasn't. a penalty for it either. The Chiefs thought there should have been a penalty and all this whatnot, but I don't know. The referee defends the call, but the non-call.
Right.
But yeah, as soon as he got hit, and I see those arms slowly raising up, I think, oh shoot, it's one of those ones. Those are the bad ones.
Exactly.
Ever since I saw Parham had that, with the arms going up slowly.
Yeah. It's a bad one. Yeah, it looked pretty, I was watching, I'm like, holy crap, he's not getting up for that. He kind of walled it off and they got helped off, of course, but they should give him at least a break for 1 week, maybe even more.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing is I think Tua had the same thing and he was only out for 2 games.
Right.
So they got him back, but I don't know. They're looking at concussions so closely now. Who knows? And it also depends on which specialist they have. They're all different.
Exactly. Yeah, it depends on who you know, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, we talked about the field in Germany. Yeah, Bruce Irvin complained about it. Didn't think it was that good. Let's see.
Injury.
Yeah, PJ Walker. High ankle sprain. Baker returns behind center. So
yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean Walker didn't have to do much, but he didn't do anything either. And Thursday night game, so Baker comes in and we'll see what he can do.
Mm-hmm. Just some quarterback. No, actually, yeah. Well, there is quarterback news for people returning and things like that. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams should be back next week. Well, we've heard that before.
Right. I'm hoping they come back.
Yeah, we're hoping. Well, Keenan Allen had that setback with his hamstring, and then he was out again, and then Mike Williams. Meantime, Josh Palmer's establishing himself in there. Don't think he had that great of a game. I haven't got my stats up. Shows you how far behind I am in this podcast. Right. Let's find out how Josh Palmer did this week. Let's see if he had a down game, up game. Well, it's against San Francisco. You can't expect the moon. So let's see what he got.
3 for 44.
Yeah, 8 targets, only caught 3 of them. Ugh, that's a bad percentage. Considering he got 8 of 10 the previous week and 9 of 12 before he was out for the Seattle game. So right, so yeah, so he finished WR. I want a half PR. WR 54U. So not too good for Josh Palmer. I don't know about DeAndre Carter. I think he fared better.
Yeah, he scored a touchdown.
Yeah, it always helps.
Right. Yeah, it helps. Yeah, he looked pretty good. So I think he scored an early touchdown. He was getting a lot of looks, so I think it's a better option at least for Justin Herbert. Hopefully these two, at least one of them, get back with. I think Mike Williams has a better chance of coming back than Keenan Allen does. So Justin Herbert needs them. They got so many injuries on that team. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Gerald Everett. I didn't have him on the list here. Apparently he's questionable.
Right, I just saw that too. A groin injury, I think it is, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then the 2 players that got hurt during the game, one's defensive lineman, and the other, I forget the other player, offensive lineman, I think, now they're both out for the season. So, I mean, that keeps adding to the list. I mean, that team is decimated with injuries. It's pretty sad.
I know. I was kind of looking forward to this game, because it would be a battle of the Bosas.
Yeah.
But Joey was, earlier in the season he went on IR, and so we haven't seen him since. So, now the Saints, our good old Saints. They lost to Pittsburgh. I kind of expected Pittsburgh to come out and win this game. But they're going to move on they're considering whether to move on from Andy Dalton. I see here.
Yeah. Yeah, those things, they may go back, try to see if Jimmy Winston can light a candle under this offense, because Dalton is looking pretty ugly out there. He's not doing so good. So,
washed is the word.
Yeah. You said, I mean, I was trying to be polite. So, yeah, that's fine.
But it's true.
He doesn't look good out there.
I mean, come on. It is true. That's right.
Yeah, Dalton plays a little too passive. Winston, he's more like a gunslinger, so that may help Olave and the rest of the offense, get more big plays. But we'll see. I think Winston will start.
Man, Olave took a solid hit. Like I saw one of the highlights. He got bashed pretty good against a Pittsburgh defender.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, by the sidelines. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty vicious.
That was a pretty massive hit. I mean, it was clean, but pretty hard hit. I thought, oh, this guy. Yeah, you got to be tough to play football, man. And I mean, and the Pittsburgh defense, and they didn't have Minka Fitzpatrick either.
Right.
So, and they still played good.
Yeah,
So they had Watt back. That makes a huge difference in the Pittsburgh offense.
He's a menace out there. He's phenomenal. He's a motor that doesn't stop.
Yeah, but then just as they get Watt back, they lose Minka Fitzpatrick. Minka is awesome. He's an awesome safety. He's probably I consider Minka Fitzpatrick the best safety.
Yeah, he's one of the best. Yeah, he's a playmaker.
Yep, he is. All right, let's get on to the waivers, shall we, Dennis? And as always, we start with the quarterback. And look who's number one. Woo! Come on. You're first. You're the Cleveland guy.
I don't want freaking Deshaun Watson. I've been saying it every week. I don't want him, and he continues to be the top guy on this list, or in the top 5 or so on this list. And I just, the Browns ain't going anywhere, so I'm not sure why they believe that Watson's going to do anything for them to make the season any better. But I don't know. I mean, they lost like 1 in 5 the last 6 games, I believe. So they're not going anywhere. So why even put him out? I mean, they paid him all this money. They paid him all this money, and now they're gonna throw him to the wolves. And the team is kind of disarray. They're already. I mean, a lot of news coming out of Cleveland that the teams kind of at each other now. So I mean, that's going to get worse as they lose more. So, so I don't think I'm not picking up Watson. I mean,
really? There's just disgruntled locker room going on.
Yeah, surprise, right?
Yeah, well,
they're not right. I don't see him as being any benefit for at least for me. I wouldn't take a chance on him, but people will. They remember him from a couple years ago. I mean, he was great. I mean, he was a great fantasy player, but it was 2 years ago. He hasn't played with these guys. He hasn't played in 2 years. He's rusty. Obviously the speed of the game is a lot faster than playing a little practice. I was let to go back on the practice field now with the Browns. So I mean, everything changes when you're out there. So we'll see what he does, but I'm not too excited about adding him.
Every week we see Marcus Mariota on here. We got Matt Ryan's back on. Matt Ryan back in the fold. We thought he was he is washed, but the Colts really had no choice but to go back to Matt Ryan. So experience, you got to go with the experienced guy. Ellinger's just not ready, or some rookies just can get out there and they can it just fits like a glove. Like Herbert was like that,
Yeah. Ellinger's definitely not.
Yeah, Ellinger's just not like it. I mean, Justin Fields wasn't like that, and finally, Justin Fields is breaking out goodness. Justin Fields, he won't let up. He won't quit. He's thinking, I like this now. I like playing football now. So he's
right.
I don't know.
He's looking good out there, man.
Yeah, he's looking great out there and just scoring fantasy points hand over fist. Like he's just. The Bears are still losing, but at least the football is exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they traded away two of their best defensive players, so now that defense is so poor that they're it's gonna be in shootouts every week. So Fields has to play from behind, so he's getting a lot of run out there, do whatever he wants out there, and he's playing phenomenal right now.
Wasn't that Detroit's first road win since since the first road win?
Yeah, it's been years.
Since 2016 or something like that.
Something stupid.
2018,
like that, yeah.
I think maybe 2018. So, anyways, other names on here we got Taylor Heineke, Ryan Tannehill, and Jacoby Brissett, the other Cleveland. These are just byfield quarterbacks, and they're really. It seems. Wow, I can't believe all the other quarterbacks are more than 50%. There should be, but I guess it's pretty thin at quarterback if you are short of a quarterback. I mean, you can eliminate Watson for one. So you got 5 quarterbacks here on the Fantasy Pros Week 11 waiver rankings. If there's anybody else other than these 5 on the list, I would suggest checking them out instead. I mean, within reason. I mean, not Zach Wilson. Let's be serious, right?
Right. Yeah, they're not glorious options, that's for sure.
No, and
hopefully you're prepared.
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing I noticed too. That after that the Munich game, I noticed that the coach. He used to be coach of Geno Smith. I forget who's the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I lost his name. I've got it already. Always a slip of the tongue. As soon as you say it, I'll think, yeah.
The current coach of the Buccaneers?
The current coach of the Buccaneers.
Yeah, you're going to get me on that one too. His name,
Todd Bowles. Todd
Yeah,
Bowles,
Todd
that's
Bowles.
right. Well, anyways, he used to be on the Jets, right? Todd Bowles, right? And he gave a big bear hug to Geno Smith. I think he's so happy for Geno Smith. He gave him a big bear hug because he was coach of Geno Smith back in the day.
Yeah, it was Geno's like, him or Barkley will win comeback player of the year. And they deserve it because Geno looks great out there. He made some bad decisions, holding on the ball too long against, but fantasy wise, he came through with the 2 late scores when they were playing catch up. But still, I care about his points. But they're going to be Ken Walker didn't do anything, which kind of it makes you a little nervous. The Buccaneers defense looked really good. The run defense was pretty hefty out there.
Show today is crowded, so we must move quick.
Yep, so we'll move on to the running backs. Speaking of the Buccaneers, that was kind of a segue there.
There you go. They call that a segue in the business.
Yeah, we call it a segue. We like that. Anyway, Rashad White. Less than 50% owned still. He won't be after this week. We won't see him on this list next week, finally. Every week he's on. He's not available anywhere. I've been trying to get him. He's not available anywhere. Not in my leagues. I don't know whatever leagues people are playing, but But Rashad White finally number 1. He's usually been hovering like 3, 4, like in the top 5 in these waiver rankings. But finally he's at RB1. I think he's been at RB1 before. Maybe I don't know. Irrelevant. Rashad White I think he's taking over from Fournette, and with Fournette banged up a bit here,
It gives him an excuse to start White again and give him more of the rock. And he was a big part of the offense yesterday.
Yeah.
I think situation looks pretty appealing if you have White on your roster. If he's somehow available, he should be your priority pickup too.
Yeah, even though you won't be able to start him, because I will reiterate, here are the players who are on a bye this week. The teams that are on a bye: Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins, Seattle Seahawks, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Seahawks and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously, kind of obvious jet lag,
Right, exactly.
So I can see why they're off, but the other two, big ones. Big one is obviously Miami. You don't have Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or Jeff Wilson and Tua.
Right.
Of course. Travis Etienne, you don't have him for the Jaguars.
Right.
Plus all the other players in the Seahawks and Tampa Bay. So, there is, but you still got to pick up Rashad White, even though they're not playing this week.
You have to. Yeah, he's a priority.
Let's talk about the Kansas City backfield, shall we, Dennis and Isaiah Pacheco?
Yeah, it seems like we talk about him every week. But he carried the rock. 16 times for 82 yards. Played the most snaps of the running backs. It seems like he's, if they're in a positive game script, he gets out there more. But negative game script, they go to McKinnon because he's a better pass catcher.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the play. The CH, might as well. He's just cut. He shouldn't be owned anymore. But I think those two are going to be the split now in the backfield.
Yeah.
And if one of those two are available, I would pick him up just because, you're going to need a back. And with Byway's coming in, I thought you're going to find someone better. Those two guys. And
why didn't the Chiefs? I think the Chiefs fans should be upset. Why didn't the Chiefs try to, before the trade deadline, try to get rid of Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Yeah, who would want him?
Somebody might want him. The week he had value. Now that guess how many carries he got this weekend?
I don't think he got any.
He didn't get any. You're right. You win. Yeah. Ding. You get the prize. I don't know. You get a prize. But he was targeted twice, but he didn't catch anything.
Yeah.
If you started Clyde Edwards-Helaire which probably a lot of people still did.
Yeah, probably.
He's flex guy, maybe. You got nothing. You got the big goose egg and it's been steadily dropping since week. Like in September, he had 19 fantasy points, 12 fantasy points, 10. He had 21 fantasy points against Tampa Bay in week 4. Since then, gone, gone. And he's out. He's out of the offense, basically. And so you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire and, who's the other guy again? Jared McKinnon.
Yeah. I think they're playing the Chargers this week, which should be a pretty high-scoring affair. So the Chargers' run defense is pretty poor. So I think you can get away with actually starting both of them. You're not going to have both, but if you have any of them, I'd start them. That could be on a shootout with those two. And then be on Sunday night as well. That should be fun to watch.
Gus Edwards, number 3. Don't know why he's on there. We all know about Gus Edwards.
Yeah, maybe because he got hurt, and if you had to drop him, they get him out there. But I mean, they're saying he's supposed to be back this week, and if he is, he's going to return right back to the lead role. I mean, Kenny Drake did okay, but Edwards, I mean, they love Gus Edwards, and and you look at his schedule coming up. They got Panthers coming up, Jacksonville. I think if he's available somehow, snag him. I mean, him and Rashad. It depends if you need someone this week, grab Edwards. If you're looking for long term, grab White first. But Edwards should be 1A, 1B, or 1A depending on your situation, your roster.
Yeah. Jalen Warren's on the list of the Pittsburgh. He got 9 carries. But he didn't really, he's an undrafted free agent, so not saying that necessarily means anything, but it's still Najee's backfield. I think a lot of people thought it would go into a split, but it still looked like Najee's backfield.
Yeah, I mean, he had the best game of his season, Harris did, and he had that one big run. Other than that, I mean, like you said, it's his backfield, but Warren's still going to get the touches, and he got a season high 12 touches in the game. But like you said, he didn't produce much with it, but he's a decent handcuff option in case of injury, and that's always good to have. That's a good stash option for sure.
I guess you kind of lit a fire on him, that news that for Najee, that I mean, he was 1 yard shy of a 100-yard game, so I guess it kind of lit a fire under Najee, all the news saying that.
Maybe.
I mean, he got 20 carries. He still hasn't scored a touchdown since week 6, but I think it'll come. I think the offense is starting to get a little more settled now. Maybe. I don't know. I think that, the offensive line definitely looked a little better. I think that was what they needed to work on. And as a result, Najee was better. So Najee did look good. Madison's always on here. We don't need to talk about the handcuff. Jared McKinnon, we talked about. Kyron Williams, thoughts?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch him. Not in that backfield. Not in that offense. No, thank you. Him or Cam Akers also on this list. Yeah, I'm not touching any of those two.
Goodness sakes, I'd rather have Spiller than Akers at this point.
Agreed.
I mean,
even James Cook. I'd rather have him.
Cook's a handcuff. You got to have him, really. I mean,
I mean, it makes you wonder why do the Bills trade for Nyheim Hines if they're not going to play him? He didn't do anything. They didn't even use him.
No, that's true. That's true.
I don't
He's invisible.
Yeah, I mean James Cook at least you see him. He was getting some spot plays here and there, and they utilize it, but you don't see Hines much at all.
Well, he's a little brother of Dalvin Cook, right? So there was a bit of a it's kind of a bit of a storyline in that game too. The back storyline there.
Yeah, maybe, but even still, I'm not sure why they traded for Hines without using it.
Doesn't make sense. They didn't use him at all. Pointless. But they used James Cook. But so that about wraps up. Well, we didn't talk about Chuba Hubbard, should we?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Okay.
I don't want Deontay Foreman's playing phenomenal right now.
I know. We just can't wait to hear what Davis has to say. Let's get to it.
Peng's Picks with Davis Peng.
Hey everybody, this is Davis Peng, writer for Fantasy Six Pack, and this is my Peng's Picks for Week 11. First thing I want to talk about is my trade articles that I write on FantasySixPack.net. And not just my trade articles, just everybody that writes and contributes to that website. We have great writers that are currently ranked in the top 10 of all expert analysis on week-to-week basis. And my trade articles have been hitting. They hit almost every single week, and they've hit early. You know, you could have gotten guys like Nick Chubb in week 1, talking about Travis Etienne 4 weeks before his breakout, Damian Pierce before his breakout, Amari Cooper before his breakout, so on and so forth. Something to recommend. It's $10 a month. If you don't want to do it now, hey, we understand, but you can use this to help you with your fantasy playoff. And at the end of the day, I only try to do concise analysis, no low-hanging fruit, and something that actually makes sense. I'm not telling you to buy Travis Etienne this week because he had a quote-unquote one down week. So that being said, let's start talking about what occurred this past week. And hey, any given Sunday occurred like no other. You got guys like Aaron Jones putting up, Christian Watson putting up, Aaron Rodgers putting up, Jonathan Taylor coming back from the dead, James Conner just putting up the scoreboard. And man, like who would have thought, right? So, and normally this would have been an issue if you're talking about preseason football until now, but let's be real, that is a controversial take coming into week 10. So what does that mean for you? Well, that means let's start looking at players that, you know, who are going to see opportunity in probably not so much great situations. And my first example, which I put in the Trade Targets article, is talking about Tyler Higbee and guys like Allen Robinson. Like, sure, I get it. Matthew Stafford hasn't looked great. The Rams have looked piss poor this year. But guess what? Fantasy points are fantasy points. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who gets you the points. It's just about what the ending score is. And I think both those guys, and maybe even including Van Jefferson, have a very good opportunity to take it up a notch, and they might not cost you anything. Because Cooper Kupp is going to be out for a few weeks, as far as we know. And if he isn't, he's going to be hobbled. So, buy Tyler Higbee, buy Allen Robinson, and take some pop shots at Van Jefferson. And they might not cost you a ton. Hell, they might even be on your waiver wire. So, go look for these guys, grab them while you can. Because, like I said, it's been any given Sunday. Other players I'm possibly looking at, it's just other matchups that I like for the finals. You know, if I'm in a good record, I want guys that I think are in positive situations, right? So, Jaguars facing Texans week 7. Broncos facing Chiefs week 17. And I know for a fact that none of the Broncos players are highly sought after this year, especially what's been going on with Russell Wilson. So maybe Cortland Sutton's viable. Maybe you take Melvin Gordon, who has actually been pretty good against the Chiefs the past 2 years. Maybe you look towards, away from stuff like Steelers, Ravens, but, you might grab the Ravens' Devin Duvernay and maybe use him against a piss poor team like the Steelers. Bears, Lions. Maybe start stacking those players who are putting up crazy amount of numbers on a week-to-week basis and see maybe they go off week 7. So, as much to look at, I could go through an entire list and roster, but start planning yourself for your championship if you're in a good position. And that's it. That's my Peng's Picks take for week 11. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Yeah, a little bit of a shameless plug there for his art. I don't mind.
A little bit.
I mean,
That's
and
all
for
right.
the website, and for our paid subscribers. The Blurb View doesn't have a paywall, but I mean, I kind of but there are more benefits if you do sign up for be a member of Fantasy Six Pack. You get a whole lot more than just our stuff. So just a little bit about that. I can't downplay anything about that because we're part of FantasySixPack.net, and we can't. We like our site. We like our stuff. And Dennis, you do the what do you do?
Nice. I'll see you read it.
I forgot. I don't know. I'm so busy. I got writing and everything to do. I haven't got time to read everything.
The stock up, stock down.
The stock up, stock down. That's right. I knew it. It was on the tip of my tongue. It was just like Todd Bowles,
That's right.
So anyway, visit us at FantasySixPack.net. Okay, now I'm back to what he was talking about. Okay, he talked about the Rams. Now, okay, we talked about this before the break, and before we broke we talked about the Rams offense. Really I don't know. How do you feel about this? I mean, are we, should we jump it? We talked about Van Jefferson and.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said earlier, I'm not targeting any of those players. I mean, I agree with Davis. So you probably get them for cheap because they've been playing so poorly. I mean, but you really want to rely on Allen Robinson or Van Jefferson for fancy as you try for your fantasy playoffs and/or championship. I do not. I can't risk that. So I'm going for someone. Maybe Higbee, but even that is pretty sketchy. But the way the tight end position is, Higbee of that group might be the best option for fantasy managers because of the disarray that the tight end position is. But I'm not touching the receivers, not touching Stafford, so I'd probably shy away from.
Do you know what? A guy who we haven't talked about, and I think is probably the sneaky pick that you can probably pick up and start, and he's probably going to be is Ben Skowronek. Ben Skowronek. I'm going to make a bold prediction here: is Ben Skowronek is going to be the de facto target replacement for Cooper Kupp.
Oh my.
That's my bold perception. That's my bold prediction. I really think that I think it's entirely possible.
Someone has to do it, right?
Somebody's got to do it, and I think it could be Ben Skowronek. If you look at Skowronek's stats, he's a pretty reliable pass catching receiver. I don't know what his percentage is. I'm gonna look up for you folks here who are listening to this podcast. You heard it first, but I'm talking pure eye test here. This is not. I mean, I'm not a stat hugging kind of guy, so. But I'm going to look up Ben Skowronek, and he's way down here. Here he is. He's WR 84 rest of season, and he's got a hell of a good catch percentage. 4 of 6 in week 1, 2 of 3, 4 of 4 in week 3, 6 of 8 targets against Dallas in week 5, 5 and 5, 5 for 5 against Carolina. But he didn't do too good against Arizona. He only got 2. He only got 2 of 7. But ignore that. Ignore last week. Recency. Who cares? But Ben Skowronek. If you didn't get anybody in your waiver wire, you know what? I'm gonna shock everybody, and I'm gonna pick up just to shock them. What? He's picked up Ben Skowronek. What does he know?
Right. Inside scoop.
Yeah, inside scoop.
Right. That'd be hilarious if you start scoring touchdowns like crazy.
I would. But I think he's. You know something? I really think it's possible because of his really good catch percentage, catch to target reception ratio. It's really good.
Yeah, he makes some plays out there, but I still don't trust anybody that often.
I know. But you're right, of course. But you
could. I mean, it's worth a shot, of course. But I mean, if you could look at these, we'll look at these wide receivers
all right.
on the waiver wire coming up soon. We could, okay, we'll do this. When you let me know where you would stop and pick up your guy in front of any of these guys.
Okay.
When you go down the list.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll start. Why don't you open up the curtain for wide receiver Weaver ranks?
Well, the first one's going to be pretty obvious is Christian Watson. I mean, he freaking exploded, with 3 touchdowns, and he looked like, Aaron Rodgers only had eyes for him. He was throwing the ball like crazy, and with Romeo Dobbs or Dubs, whatever his name is now, Randall Cobb both out, doors wide open for Watson. He's finally healthy, took full advantage of it, and he should be your number 1 pickup as a wide receiver.
I have him in 2 leagues. I have him already in Scott Fish, and I have him in the league that we're in. I have him already.
Did you start him?
I didn't start him. I still won I still won the week though. But
there you go.
I didn't start him, but I might next week. But I think you're picking him up regardless. But I really don't think it could be. Is it possible, Dennis? This just could be a flash in the pan, but he did it at Lambeau Field. You can't really go back now. The genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah, true. I think Rodgers has been looking for someone to step up and somebody you can rely on to throw the ball to. I think Lazard, he was covered a lot by Diggs, so he was left. Watson was left open a lot more than probably in other game situations. So, but Watson took advantage of it. He was burning the DBs left and right in that game. So I mean, he looked like he was, like I said, finally healthy, and he produced. I think Rodgers is gonna make a point for him to be successful. And I think they take on the Titans on Thursday. I would, and I think he'll, prime time at Green Bay again. I think he's going to shine again.
Yeah, I think whatever you've got left in your fab, you got to spend on him. I mean, at this point in the season, we're approaching playoffs, and he could be a league winner for you. So, so he's going to be a hotly sought after wide receiver now. I mean, because we know what Rodgers is like once he keys on a guy, like Adams, and we know the history. So it's Yeah, you gotta pick him up regardless whether it's a flash or a pan. But I don't know. You just don't score 3 touchdowns in a game and beat Dallas. Actually, I read a statistic that it's the first time I never knew this before. Dallas has never lost leading by 14 points in the fourth quarter ever.
Wow, I didn't know that.
They've never lost a game until what happened on Sunday. So, I mean, that was big. And Dallas is hated around the league wherever they go. And of course,
Absolutely.
Christian Watson. Yeah, the only place that they're not so loved is in places outside Dallas. And Christian Watson to do that against Dallas and in Lambeau Field. You win the crowd at Green Bay and you're in. He was, a happy day. 3 touchdowns. Good Lord. So yeah, pick him up. Number 1. Number 2, this isn't a bad pickup either now, considering the issues going on with Juju Smith-Schuster. Kadarius Toney, thoughts? So what are your thoughts on Toney anyhow?
Tony, I mean, obviously he was he had the benefit of not having McCole Hardman, being out, and Juju unfortunately getting hurt, exiting early. But you could tell that they made it a point to get him the ball, and he did what he did with the ball. I mean, it was good to see him be a playmaker, and I think they'll lead to more opportunities for him to be here, even when those two get back.
Yeah, it was a bit of a hot dog touchdown. We knew he was trying to stay in bounds, but he sort of played it along. At the end. A little bit of hot dog in there, but not too bad. I mean, he's a weapon now. He's in there. You got to pick him up. Definitely, he could be a league winner, just like Christian Watson.
Yeah,
and that was kind of weird. And just like Christian Watson, Christian Watson I think he scored a touchdown before, but Kadarius Toney had never scored a touchdown before this weekend.
It's weird. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he is going to when he got traded, a lot of people picked him up then, so I'm surprised he's still available in some leagues. But if he's available, I'd grab him.
I would too. Could be a league winner. Definitely could be a league winner there. So you got to pick him up, right? I mean, he might even be more valuable than Christian Watson. We shall see.
That offense.
Yeah. Donovan Peoples-Jones, number 3. You know my like of Donovan Peoples-Jones, and it looked like he was starting to get a little more usage. He was getting targeted a lot. How many targets did he get in that Miami game? Got quite a bit because it was a shootout atmosphere. So
yeah, 9. Yeah, 9 targeted 9. Yeah.
9 targets. That's his second, tied for second of most targets in the season for a game. 99 yards. He nearly got a 100-yard game. Just so
yeah. I mean, he's got 71 receiving yards in 5 of the last 6, and when Watson's gonna be coming back, probably. So I mean, that's gonna probably boost the offense a little bit. You would think at least the deep ball would be more available to Donovan Peoples-Jones. So that could be, it's a sneaky pickup, I think, when, for your team. And I think the Browns will be trailing a lot of games. So because their defense is playing so poorly that a lot of negative games, which is hurting, the running game. But it's helping Donovan Peoples-Jones get the ball a lot more.
I think it helps that, you see when you look on the other side, Amari Cooper only, he got 3 of his targets for, he only was targeted 3 times, but he caught them all for 32 yards, but obviously he was getting the premium coverage.
Right, exactly.
So that's probably why, but Donovan Peoples-Jones, I like him. He's an eye test guy, We see Marquez Valdez-Scantling, another one of the KC. He seems to always be in this list, but I don't know, boom or bust.
Still don't want him.
Yeah, still don't want him.
Still don't want him.
I want Darius Slayton though. There's a chemistry there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's kind of boom or bust, but I mean, he went boom this week. I mean, he had a nice 54-yard running catch. He showed a lot of speed there, and then he gets the Lions this week. Yeah, that could be. That's a sneaky pickup if you have one of your receivers on a bye this week. If you have like Evans or Godwin or someone, pick up Slayton and ride him this week as well.
Definitely. He's definitely the kind of receiver that you see in start-sit columns, but definitely anytime you're playing the Lions, you got to start a wide receiver from the other team. So, Paris Campbell?
Yeah. He does well when Matt Ryan's behind center.
I suppose. Yeah, he's preferred target. Matt Ryan does not like Michael Pittman for some reason. He just will not.
I don't know
throw
why.
him.
don't know why he doesn't like him, but I hope he does because I got him in one of my leagues. He needs to throw it to Pittman. But yeah, I mean, he gets the ball. I mean, he had his touchdown, but this week he goes against the Eagles, so maybe temper your expectations a little bit, but I think it's still worth an ad, but I worry about what he would do this week.
Traylon Burks, he's always in the conversation. He's to me, Traylon Burks is a next year guy, maybe. I don't know. The star of the show was Nick Westbrook-Akeen in that game yesterday. Against
where did that come from?
Well, it's one of those things where sometimes the players do, and that's how you got to pick up sleepers. Is kind of look for the guy who hasn't done anything for weeks and weeks. He comes out and booms. That's how you pick your sleepers. It's not like dice where it's always random. I mean, with people, it's different. Players do become due. So.
Yeah,
that's how I pick. That's how I pick my sleepers. I always look for the guy who hasn't done anything for a few weeks, and he's probably the guy who's going to get the ball finally. Isn't But I like Terrace Marshall, who's next on the list, WR8. But kind of a next year guy as well in a way.
Yeah, they gotta solve the quarterback over there. I mean, this week they get Baker again, so I mean, who knows? Baker's so on and off that you can't really tell what he's going to do behind with the ball in his hand, which is kind of sad. But Marshall, I mean, he has a lot of talent. He has a lot of speed. I mean, he only had one catch, but it was 43 yards. So I mean, he had big play potential. It's someone that's kind of like speculative player to put in your lineup and hope he pops. And if you have a bye week or something, but otherwise, like you said, it's more of a next year thing.
Right. So once I think now that we're pretty much near the top half of the list, the rest of these names are just. I don't know. Maybe. Is there anybody in the rest of the list from WR9 to WR17 that you like?
Yeah, I think Nico Collins is someone that kind of intrigues me. I mean, he was out there more than Brandon Cooks was, and he got 5 of 10 targets for 9 yards and a TD. And they're going to be facing negative game script because they always are. So I mean, so he has a little appeal as maybe a flex or a WR3 in the lineup. And also DeAndre Carter. I mean, he did score that touchdown in the Chargers loss.
Problem is the health. The health issue.
Those guys don't. Yeah, if those guys don't come back, then I think I would keep Carter. Don't drop him yet until you find out what's going on with those two guys. But like I said, I think Williams will be back, but I'm not sure about Allen. Allen seems kind of wishy-washy, like you were mentioning earlier, every week. So for the rest of these guys, I'm not too keen on Deshaun Jackson. I wouldn't even consider that. And of course, you got Odell out there, which is kind of funny still. But
that's funny. But before the break, they were really trying to get Deshaun Watson involved, and stands to reason. I mean, their top receiver is out, but I still think it's Duvernay there. But I don't know, Deshaun Jackson. I don't know. He's better than a dart thrower. He's sleeper, I guess. I think Michael Gallup will wake up and score a start. He'll get a touchdown. But Gallup's been a little bit quiet so far.
I don't know if he's fully healthy yet. I don't think he has the speed that he had before. So I think it's kind of hurting him. And the offense didn't look like they started off great, but then it took a downward spiral at the end of the game. And Prescott was getting rushed and he was making some bad decisions with the ball. It kind of led to the Packers, coming back. But the Packers' pass defense played very well, so I give them credit. But Prescott didn't play well. So I think it hurt Gallup.
And Sky Moore is on this list, but I don't know why.
Very true. He hasn't done anything.
No, they've given him plenty of opportunity this season, but I just don't think he's quite working out as a rookie. And you would have thought that by now Reed would have found a reason to get him going, but the Chiefs still chug along. The Chiefs are still awesome. Right. So where are we at? We got to get to more things.
Show today is crowded, so we must move quick.
Come on. We got lots of time. Well, actually, we don't. Right. We got to look at some tight ends here. Foster Moreau, didn't he get hurt?
Yeah, I think he came back, though, toward the end of the game. But yeah, I think in that offense, I think he's without Darren Waller, it seems like they'll always be hurt. I think Moreau's is a good pickup if you're in need of a tight end. He's coming off a nice game. He scored a touchdown. He's going to get all the snaps now. So I think he's a nice pickup.
I would put Cade Otton a little higher. They got him at TE10. I would put him at around TE5. Cade Otton's too low on this list.
Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, you never told me. What about your Rams receiver? Where do you think you're going to put him at this list?
Right. I guess I kind of got out of that one, didn't I?
Try to sneak out of it.
Okay, well, I would put him at, like when I said, well, is there anybody else on the rest of this list? I would put him ahead of, I put him at WR9.
Okay. I think I'd rather have Collins than him, but.
You'd rather have Collins than him? The mode I'm in, bet Skowronek is. I just want to do it for shock value in the league.
Okay, that's definitely shocking, but okay, worth a shot.
I think it would shake people up a little bit.
A little bit, especially if it pops.
Especially if it pops. But I'm looking at stats here. I'm doing the stat thing. And also the eye test thing too, because Skowronek looks good whenever he's playing out there. He's in the sense, I've always said this about Skowronek, is he looks better for real football than fantasy, but it wouldn't surprise me if Skowronek steps into the shoes. Maybe. Maybe. I can't stop talking about Ben Skowronek now. So I'm getting all. I'm starting to. I'm starting to feel the magnetism. Right, where are we at here? Hayden Hurst is number 1 though. Anything to do with Cincinnati? It's just there's just so many targets there. It's a real mouths to feed offense. And to get in the front of it, it's different with a guy like Tony, because he's got some, talent stripe there. I'm not saying Hayden Hurst has got talent, but Kadarius Toney is, he's got enough, because there's that gaping hole with Juju out now. So it's a little different. I know we're on the status of Jamar Chase is unknown, is it? I don't know.
Right, he's not coming back this week for sure. That's the only reason why I stay. They need another option out there. As a third option in that offense, I take the chance on Hurst if he's available. Especially if you're only going to take him for a bye week fill-in, maybe. He's worth the pick.
Why likely is on this list? I don't know. He shouldn't be here. He should be owned by.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, he should be owned by a lot more fantasy managers, because I think he'll be the guy that gets the more targets, especially if I believe Andrews is healthy, so he should be back. But without Bateman, who else to get to the ball too? Yeah. So I think they can't get the ball to do it in every play. So I think likely he's proven to be a playmaker. So I think he gets the ball. He'll run a lot of 2 tight end sets, and likely he'll get a lot of targets. So I'm surprised he's on this list.
Yeah. Juwan Johnson, he's a sneaky pickup. You can pick him up. He's a sneaky one. Because, basically the Saints downfield receivers basically consist of Chris Olave.
Yeah.
You got you got Callahan. No, yeah. Callahan. What's his name?
Callaway. Marcus Callaway.
You got him. But, Juwan Johnson, he kind of looks more like a receiver than he does a tight end to me. But
right. He's worth a spec ad in, bye week. he scored in consecutive weeks, so he has the opportunity to get you 6 points out there. So he's worth a try.
Yeah, some of these names we see here every week. Sorry, finish your thought.
Yeah. The only person I really see that I would even try would be Trey McBride, only because of their Ertz injury. Right. I think McBride steps in there, and because the tight end, he's a rookie that hasn't done much yet. But if you want to do a spec ad and if you have roster space available, he's worth a stash to see what he does. And if he doesn't produce, then you can say see ya and try another one of these guys out here. There's no one else. Tunyon, I wouldn't try. Kaseki, no way. Noah Fant. He sounds great, but doesn't really produce. And I think your idea of Kid Otten moving up on this list, I'm surprised he's at number 10.
Yeah.
I think I move up to 5 as well. Yeah. He was open. I don't know if you watched the Tampa Bay game, but he was wide open over the middle, and Brady underthrew the pass. He's lucky to get intercepted. But I could have had a huge play, maybe even a touchdown, because he was wide open in the middle of the field. And, the Seattle guy, linebacker, almost intercepted it. And I'd probably still be running right now if he caught that ball.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a big play that should have happened that, that Brady couldn't pull him out. But, the other players on this list are, tight ends, it's hard. Yeah, it's only reason why you pick this up if you got bye week guys but it's hard to deal with the lack of quality of tight ends right now.
Yeah, it's just very low on quality. I mean, but a guy that should be on this list, I don't know why, is Matthew Wright of Detroit to be on the list. Maybe not high or anything, but I think he should be an option.
Yeah, better option than Austin Hooper.
I would say. I mean, Detroit's a kind of an active offense there. There's another guy on Detroit. I'm just going to look him up. Besides Matthew Wright, there's other guy who's...
The stage is set for two teams loaded.
Excuse me, pardon me, folks. Who's the other guy on Detroit? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Because there's a hole there because of Hawkinson's left, but there is another guy who is of fantasy interest. I think more in a dynasty sense. But anyway, yeah. So
James Mitchell. James Mitchell's
that's the guy. That's the guy. Yeah. He should be on this list.
Yeah, both those guys are probably not better options than Hooper and Fant and Gesicki because they're getting some looks. They should be on here.
Yeah. Okay, we got some time to banter a little bit. Got a few minutes here left before we close out the show. Is there anything that final thoughts or who do you like or who are you? Well, first of all, let's do this then. First of all, Fantasy Pros, you need a quarterback. Who are you getting? You got to take a guy off this list.
I'd say. Oh man, I say Matt Ryan. I hate to say that, but I do not like Mariota. I mean, he has a floor because of his rushing, but he throws some ugly passes out there. I mean, he missed like Kyle Pitts so many freaking times. I was throwing stuff at the TV because I have Pitts in like a couple of my leagues. He had Pitts wide open several times and couldn't even get close to Pitts. I mean, plus I think Pitts is kind of. He's not putting the maximum effort in either because there's some places he could do a little more effort to get the ball, and he's not. I think he's getting kind of fed up with the whole thing, but they need a quarterback there for sure. They got the weapons in the offense, but they don't need a quarterback.
Yeah, that's the other thing too is that I definitely tell you who I would not have, and I'm sorry to say it, but they're playing Buffalo, and I don't want Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think the Browns want him either, but he's been playing pretty poorly last couple of weeks. He started off great, and now last couple of weeks, man, he's been hurting the team pretty bad.
So it's definitely on. I guess let's see. I'd like to pick someone different than you, but I find it hard to pick somebody other than him. We'll go with. We've got to move quick here. Okay. I'll go with Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
Waiver ranks. Who are you rushing out to the waiver wire to get off this?
Running back. If I'm looking for this week, I'm picking up Edwards. If I'm looking for the long haul, I'm picking up White.
Yeah.
And then Pacheco, McKinnon after that, and that's about it. That's really hot.
Yeah, Rashad White, you got to pick him up. He's number one. Wide receiver, I'll go first.
Okay.
I guess Watson, obviously. Gotta take him. He's hot. He's the hot pickup. You're gonna have to spend a lot of fab to get him.
Exactly. Yeah. So you may want to pivot and go to Tony, but like you said, he's going to be highly sought out.
Even Tony's going to be gone.
Yeah, true. Yeah, both guys will be the top two for sure. But after that, who do you go with? You go with DPJ after that?
Well, I can't. Well, Detroit. It's not Detroit. They're not playing Detroit, are they? They're playing the Bills, and the Bills are a bit bruised right now. Yeah. You don't want to play. You don't want to play the Bills after a game like that. The Bills are hurting right now. They want to get back on track. They've lost 2 straight, and look who shows up just at the time when they need to turn things around.
Right. Yeah,
sorry, Dennis, but I feel sorry for you in a way. They you have to face the Bills when they're in a state like this.
Right. I could see him get there. Bills laying an ass whooping on the Browns. I mean, just like the Dolphins did. Dolphins, they destroyed them. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, but
they could have did whatever they wanted and on the offense side.
But, well, I don't know. Cleveland, they did knock off Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was kind of fluky, I think.
It's never... Oh, man, you sure sell your team short.
Nah, just realistic. I love the Browns, but I'm not a homer. Like, these guys always see everything through rose-colored glasses. I try to be realistic as possible. And Browns suck, so that's realistic as you can get.
They're not great, but they are a competitive team, and you got to appreciate that fact.
Yeah, they can be.
They
weren't
can be.
competitive yesterday.
I think you'd rather have. I'd rather be a Browns fan than a Denver or Washington or Las Vegas fan right now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely Denver and Raiders. Yeah, they're both on the downturn. It's Broncos paid all that for Wilson, and Wilson's looking very old out there.
Right. So don't forget to check out. It's called Stock Up, Stock Down, isn't it?
I'm glad you got it right this time. Glad you remembered.
No. It was on the. I knew it. I just forgot. But the Blurb View is every Friday, and Dennis's Stock Up, Stock Down comes out every Wednesday.
Correct.
So that's going to wrap up another week of Fantasy Edge. Thank you for joining us. For Dennis Sosic, I'm Rich Savill. Have good luck in Week 11. See you next week.